a fertility regulating vaccine, meaning under the guise of giving people a tetanus vaccine, they were actually suppressing their fertility. And they found out about it, and Bill Gates was doing it. We have a fan favorite, our audience favorite is back with us. Kim Bright is here. She's a pioneer in the nutrition industry, an expert in health and wellness, and founder of Brightcore Nutrition, which is a sponsor of our show. Thank you very much. It's now in its 27th year. Since the 1980s, she's been appearing regularly on nationally syndicated and local radio and television shows, educating people on how to optimize their health. Welcome back to the show, Kim Bright. Hi, Kim.
Well, thank you very much, Jimmy. It's great to be back.
Great to see you. I saw this story. I immediately thought of you, and I wanted to share it with you and get your reaction. So this is good news about what's happening to Bill Gates in Africa, right? So reminder, the Gates Foundation has been forced to surrender its diplomatic immunity in Kenya after a public and legal backlash. This is a monumental defeat for Bill Gates. He attempted to place his billionaire philanthropy above the law, seeking legal impunity for an organization riddled with allegations of misconduct and destructive projects. This was a brazen power grab, pure and simple. Kenya's democracy pushed back, preventing Gates from becoming an untouchable oligarch on the continent. This victory exposes his foundation's colonial model, funding compliant media and pushing failed green revolution projects that have devastated African farmers. Gates' retreat is a critical win. Now the reckoning with his destructive, undemocratic power must begin. No billionaire is above the law. And what am I talking about? So here they are talking about what they found out about the Gates Foundation and what they're doing about it.
Creating things that can destroy the sovereignty of Africa. We cannot afford to trust WHO anymore, Your Excellency. And I'll just mention a few things that have caused great concern to us. In 2014, 2015, WHO brought tetanus eradication campaign in our country. It was a campaign to eradicate neonatal tetanus, babies who are born who eventually get tetanus. And the vaccine that was used is a different type of a tetanus vaccine that is a fertility regulating vaccine.
A fertility regulating vaccine, meaning under the guise of giving people a tetanus vaccine, they were actually suppressing their fertility. And they found out about it, and Bill Gates was doing it.
We take tetanus and combine it with a hormone called human chorionic gonadotropin that supports pregnancy. And when you inject a woman with that vaccine, she produces antibodies against that hormone and therefore is rendered sterile. So we are noticing an increase in the number of infertility cases among young couples who you examine and they are normal but cannot get children, or couples who are losing 3, 4, 5 pregnancies before they can carry any pregnancy to term. We were able to expose this, and we have even published a paper that is available. And
so that's what he was doing. They're sterilizing people, and there's the paper. IgG found in WHO tetanus vaccine in Kenya raises concern in the developing world. No kidding.
No kidding. Well, I say go Kenya. Good for you. Knock that evil man out of your country. I mean, this is crazy. It sounds more like they were trying to eradicate babies, Jimmy, which they've done that. They tried to eradicate so many people out of Africa with AIDS. And then, of course, when they were giving away the free formula for the women over there and getting them hooked on giving formula to the babies. And then once their milk dried up, they didn't give them any free formula anymore. So they couldn't breastfeed and they had to pay a lot of money for the milk. Oh, it's so evil. Oh, good for Kenya. That's what I say.
I say good for Kenya, bad for Bill Gates. And of course, we know his operation is he funds compliant media. He gives them hundreds of millions of dollars. And so then the media isn't critical of what he's doing, and then he could do his philanthrocapitalism. It's not philanthropy. Wherever he's doing philanthropy, it's where he has a big return on his investment in pushing vaccines on people who don't need it. And by the way, Denmark, I'm pretty sure, did the study on Bill Gates's vaccine program in Africa, and it found out that the people who got vaccinated died much sooner and at a higher all-cause mortality than the people who didn't take those vaccines. I'll never tell you about that.
No, of course not. No, that is so evil. It's genocide, and he ought to be taken in front of the international court one of these days. Man. So I am so happy that they exposed him. Let's keep exposing more of his evil doings around the world.
And I remember he was asked why he takes a private plane to Kenya. If he cares about climate change. They're like, hey, but if you care about climate change, why are you taking a private jet to Kenya? He says, oh, I buy carbon offsets, which is the word.
Sure he does.
It's like, hey, so if you're rich enough, if I'm poor, I have to live in a 15-minute city, living in a storage container, driving an electric scooter, and eating bugs that hit me on the face as I drive around town. But if you're rich, you can fly in a private jet. You could have 15 air conditioners in your house. You could drive around in limousines and SUVs if you're rich enough, because you buy carbon offsets. That's just shows you what fakes these guys are. And by the way, he said he was going to Kenya so he could learn how to help their farmers. Bill Gates all of a sudden owns more farmland in the United States than any other individual citizen, and he's not growing food. He's there to make sure he could stop the food being grown he could sell you fake meat. That's what that's about. I just want to let everybody know he's not there to help the farmers of Kenya. He's there to steal their land, render it useless, and infect their kids with vaccines. That's what he's there to do.
Yep.
Okay.
I agree.
And I wanted to show you this. Talking about vaccines and the illnesses that people are getting from the mRNA vaccine platform, which the current head of the NIH says is not ready. They're at least a couple of Nobel Prizes away from the mRNA vaccine technology being able to be used on humans without damaging us. But they have been used on humans during COVID, and they have damaged people. And here's the latest happening in that.
My name is Virginia Lowe, and I have travelled here from Oma along with my husband to share his vaccine story. Larry's condition makes it very, very painful to speak for long periods of time, so I'm his voice today. I don't actually know how long he's able to stay here. He's sitting in the front row taking multiple attacks as I speak. He's shaking, stimming with the pain to try and keep it under control. Prior to December 2021, my husband Larry was a healthy, active man with no health concerns or underlying conditions. He was a college lecturer and a successful musician, but that was all taken away from him on the 15th of December 2021. That was the day he received a COVID Pfizer booster injection in Oma Leisure Centre. Within 2 days of this, he complained about unusual painful facial numbness with further pain in his teeth and his gums. This was only the start of his onset neurological journey.
So that's just one case of Larry Lowe. There's many other victims with neurological. I have nerve damage from the COVID-19 vaccine.
Yeah, there's so many. You know, Jimmy, he had it so bad that he literally would get electrical shocks up the side of his face and across his forehead, and now it goes everywhere in his body. He can't handle temperature changes. He can't even chew because he starts this electrical, thing going on in his nervous system, and he can't sleep, hasn't slept for 3.5 years. And it's so sad. There's so many other victims too that are suffering from post-vaccination syndrome months, even years after getting the vaccine. But Jimmy, did you know that they have a vaccine injury compensation program? It's a $4.5 billion fund for people who've sustained vaccine injuries, including people that have died.
So $4.5 billion sounds like a lot. Even though the vaccine companies made hundreds of billions of dollars, they now have $4.5 billion for a fund for people who got vaccine injured, including people who have died. And RFK is trying to open that up to people with autism, right?
That's right. And the thing is, I want people to know that it's great. Can you even believe that such a thing exists? It's $4.5 billion compensating these victims of vaccine injury. That tells you something's wrong, right?
Yes, that
But
does
just
tell
so
me.
people know, Jimmy, it's not being funded, thank God, from the taxpayers. It's being funded by the manufacturers. They have to do a 75-cent excise tax on every dose. So I wish they'd move it up to more like $7.50 so we could cover more people.
Here is Ron Johnson, who everybody ridiculed, Senator Ron Johnson. Turns out he was right about COVID and ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine and the COVID-19 vaccine. Even though Stephen Colbert talked about him like he's some kind of crazy person, Stephen Colbert is obviously a shill for the establishment and Big Pharma who signs his checks. And Ron Johnson doesn't need their money, and he's telling the truth. Let's listen to this.
Let's put up the next chart, number 3. This is probably my most censored chart. Dr. Scott, were you aware that worldwide on VAERS we've reported 38,742 deaths worldwide associated with the COVID vaccine? Were you aware of that carnage?
I'm not aware of that figure in particular, no.
In America, I believe the number 19,000, correct? Again,
but VAERS does not prove causality.
Oh, I've heard that time and time again. So let's take a look at the bottom figure down here. Of those 38,000 deaths, 9,252, 23.9%, let's call it 24%, occurred on the day of vaccination or within 1 or 2 days. Now, I know that doesn't prove causation, but man, that's a correlation that we ought to look at.
Wow, that is I didn't know the numbers were that high either. That's amazing.
Yeah, and Jimmy, that's only 1%. That doesn't even show the majority of instances. It's estimated only 1% of the cases are reported to VAERS because it takes the doctors 45 to 50 minutes to fill each individual thing out. What doctor is going to spend his time doing that? So that's 1%. And, let me tell you where they're going with this mRNA technology and just how scary it is. This is crazy. Right now they have this thing and they say, oh, well, we're really good at delivering the mRNA to the liver because we're using LNPs. These are liquid nanoparticles. And then they're saying, but it's still so hard to get the mRNA into other organs in a controlled way. Now they have a new solution called POST. P-O-S-T. It's peptide encoded organ selective targeting.
Is that
So this is
that
now
what this
taking
is?
it. That's what that is. It takes it one step further. It's going to allow scientists to program nanoparticles with targeting codes. These are short chains of amino acid peptides that act like biological zip codes. How cute is that? The acronym is POST. Now we have biological zip codes. So these codes, Jimmy, they don't just passively guide the particles. They actively change how the particles interact with our blood proteins. And they form new protein coronas that make them more likely to invade specific organs. So in essence, what I'm saying here is the particles can be made to slip past natural barriers, even potentially the blood-brain barrier, which also could mean pregnant women that barrier could go through. So here's how it works. Depending on the peptide post code, the LNPs can now deliver genetic instructions. They target it not just to the liver, but to the lungs, the spleen, the heart, and even the brain. And they're manipulating the DNA within our human body. Now, this is what's particularly frightening. This system is scalable and it's also modular. In other words, scientists, governments, private companies could design countless postcodes to deliver gene-altering payloads anywhere in the body. So it's not just mRNA. It could also carry gene editing tools or other molecules capable of silencing or rewriting our genes. So this is opening up enormous potential for manipulating our human biology on a level never before possible, Jimmy. And with that ability to target the brain, such a system could be used to alter our neural activity, where they're going to influence our behavior or rewrite aspects of cognition and personality. And just because you don't get the vaccine, the mRNA vaccine, doesn't mean you're safe, because there's nothing preventing them from putting the mRNA vaccination in our livestock, in our food, and that's including organic. And then there's exposure through shedding.
Well, shedding is real. We know that, that even if you didn't get vaccinated, someone who's vaccinated could shed on you, and then you get infected with that vaccine. And so during the COVID-19 vaccine, they use liquid nanoparticles, and that kind of helped the spike protein get inside your liver, get inside your heart, get inside everywhere. But now they're using this, they have this new technology called post. That's what you're talking about?
Yeah, so because now they can target different areas. But let me tell you, the spike proteins, they've caused a whole nother level of damage compared to the traditional vaccines. They are the leading known cause of the vaccine injuries. And that spike protein is a little piece of protein on the outside of the virus that causes your cell to accept the virus, become infected, and then the mRNA-based COVID vaccine instructs your cells to make a supposedly harmless spike protein. So your immune system could recognize it as a fragment that is foreign, build antibodies and T cell responses against it. And that's how it was supposed to work. But, researchers are now asking, well, whether producing spike proteins, even in small controlled amounts, could trigger harmful effects. Of course, yes is the answer. But the health of the gut microbiome is the number one factor determining our health and fixing the problems that things like vaccinations have caused, Jimmy.
Well, so tell me about, the gut microbia is the most important thing. And tell me, what do we do about that?
Well, there's actually a study out for the management of spike protein related pathologies. And they talk about how kimchi is the best thing that you can eat for your microbial diversity. And laboratory studies suggested that spike proteins can interact with blood vessel linings, platelets, which led to the hypotheses about links to clotting or inflammation. But this is no longer a hypothesis. There's overwhelming evidence now about the damages this caused for millions of people. Many aren't even aware of it yet. So here's what we can do to protect ourselves. That study I just talked about and read is that the number one thing that you can do to increase the microbial diversity in the gut is with kimchi, that ancient food that has over 900 different, important microbes that are good microbes. And we've known about the importance of microbial diversity in our gut for a long time, but Americans tend to overuse antibiotics, pharmaceuticals, vaccines, and even the standard American diet that's just loaded with crap are the primary causes of the lack of diversity in our gut microbiome, and it kills off the good guys. All these things kill off the good guys and promote the bad guys. So along comes kimchi, the superfood, with its over 900 unique strains of beneficial bacteria. And to me, kimchi is like the special forces. It goes in there because when you're, trying to heal your gut, you might be taking other different probiotics or fermented foods, but there's a war going on in your gut since you were born, and kimchi really gets in there and fights that war. And to me, it's like the special forces. But I don't know, Jimmy, have you seen that thing that was on TV? I think it was on Fox and Friends, RFK Jr. And he said that he started eating kimchi and it changed everything for him.
I did. In fact, I played it on the show before where he said he started eating kimchi and it changed his whole life. And he looks well, look, let me show you. So watch this video. Here he is. Look, that's the guy who's 70. What is he, 71 years old?
He's 71 years old. He's 71 years old. And so, let's all hope that I'm turning 71 soon, Jimmy.
Yeah.
And, we should all be as healthy as he is at this age. And, there's something about consuming that kimchi, something different about it. And another thing too, I don't know if you knew this, but They did a test in test tubes where they tested human cells, and they introduced kimchi in the cells, into the test tubes where the cells were. And it actually slowed the aging of the cells. And the cells were all different ages. They were young, middle-aged, and older. So it also slows our aging down. So that's proof that even if you're older than 71, never too late to start something that's going to help you age healthier. And if you're young, do what you need to do now to continue living a healthy life. I started taking care of myself when I was 20. So that's why I'm looking pretty good at 71. So just realize we're living in a world that's trying to kill us. There's poison in our air, in our food, in our soil, the medications that we're being told to take. There's no avoiding it. You have to do something proactive or you're going to suffer consequences.
Well, I super appreciate that you support our show in the way you do. And because we got a target on our back and they can pull the rug out from underneath us at any moment at YouTube. And so I'm glad that there are people like you who want to step up and support our show. And so as a thank you, I just want to go ahead and let me give you a plug for your product, which is kimchi. I take the kimchi every day. I take 3 pills every day. It's helped my digestion. It helps my gut and I feel much better. I'm much more regular, and everything that could possibly, just like RFK said, it's changed his life. So tell people about your kimchi that you have.
Well, there's nothing. I'm so happy to hear that with you, that's affecting you that way. But that doesn't surprise me because we have so many benefits from kimchi. And that's why we created Kimchi One and put it in capsule. Convenient capsules for daily use, no bad taste or odor. It's low in sodium, unlike the store-bought. It's 100% made in the USA, all natural, non-GMO, and so many success stories about Kimchi One. People problems with their digestion or bloating or gas. People had problems with their immune system. They're not getting sick any longer. They're achieving younger looking skin, thicker hair. And people that had a weight problem lost weight that they couldn't lose before. And the most impressive thing, Jimmy, let me tell you, we've had so many people since they got the COVID shots that have been experiencing a variety of symptoms like reoccurring headaches, trouble with sleep and mood, heart palpitations, seizures. The list goes on. And they could not identify the cause of the symptoms other than they'd gotten the vaccine. And the results they've reported back to us since using Kimchi One have been nothing short of remarkable.
And so let me go ahead and just tell people we got a great deal for them. So if you want, this is what I take, the Kimchi One. And 3, because I'm not a big fan of the taste of kimchi, but I could take those 3 pills, no problem. And you can get 25% off right now if you use the code DORE. You go to mybrightcore.com/DORE, and you'll get 25% off. Even better is if you call them. Give them a call at 888-253-0418, and they'll give you 50% off if you call them, and they'll give you free shipping. So that's quite a deal.
Yeah, and Jimmy, also, we want people to call so we can talk to them, answer questions, make sure the product's right for them. And I'm also going to give the first 100 callers a free bottle of Fortify. Now, this is really super expensive, okay? But we're going to give it away because we love you and love your show so much. Fortify contains all 9 essential amino acids to protect against cellular damage. It helps retain muscle mass. As we get older, we lose muscle mass. We lose our hormone production, so it boosts hormone production, and it actually supports brain chemistry. So we've never given away such an expensive product as a free gift, but we're on a mission to save lives and help people. So call 888-253-0418. Be one of the first 100 callers. We're going to give you this as well, free, plus free shipping and up to 50% off of your order.
All right, Kim Bright, I really appreciate you. Thanks for coming on. It's always a blast to talk to you and get your insight. And thanks for supporting our show. It means a lot to me personally, and I'm sure our viewers appreciate it too. Thanks again for coming on, Kim. Hey, let's talk about something that doesn't get enough attention. Microplastics in your arteries and how they may be silently threatening your heart. New research shows microplastics are not just in oceans or in our drinking water. They're ending up in our blood clots and arterial plaques. A recent study analyzing human blood clots found microplastics in 80% of samples taken from people who had heart attacks, strokes, or deep vein thrombosis. Here's a mind-blowing statistic. Cadavers with microplastic plaques are 450% more likely to have died from a heart attack or a stroke. That's not a small correlation. That's a major red flag for your heart's integrity. The good news is that probiotics and kimchi have been found to degrade, absorb, and excrete microplastics from your body. A brand new study shows that eating fermented kimchi can help improve fasting glucose, lower triglycerides, and reduce high blood pressure. Kimchi 1 from Brightcore Nutrition brings you all the benefits of kimchi in a convenient capsule form. I take it. Kimchi 1 delivers over 900 probiotic strains, plus antioxidants and enzymes that help your body detox naturally, fight harmful bacteria, and protect your arteries from stress caused by microplastics. It helps your whole body defend itself from the inside out, supporting your gut, your immune system, and your heart. And it's all natural, non-GMO, made right here in USA. No mess, no odor, just simple capsules that work. Right now, you can get 25% off with my code DOOR at the link below. For an even better deal, call my friends at Brightcore and get up to 50% off and free shipping. Their number, 888-253-0418. Come see us in Australia. Second show's added in Melbourne, Sydney, and Brisbane. We'll see you in Burbank, California, the day after Thanksgiving. It's a Friday. And then Pottstown, Pennsylvania, December 6th. Plus, January 11th, we're going to be in Waikiki at the Blue Note. Tickets not available yet for them, but go to jimmydore.com for a link for all the other tickets.